Hi there everybody, Doggy Dan here from the Dog Trainer Academy. Now, we've had a number of emails come through asking us all sorts of questions. A lot of them have been around pricing, like how much should you charge and how much money can you make and how quickly can you start getting the money back on what you've invested. So what I thought I'd do is I've written down some of the main questions which have been asked, and I thought I'd kind of, rather than me just tell you what I think or feel or what I earn, I thought what would be better is to use a real life example. Somebody that some of you may know, Cindy Christensen, who was she's in the Dog Trainer Academy. I mentioned her in the webinar because she's somebody who has put all this in place, and she's doing a great job at it. So here's some of the questions which you've asked. How quickly can I start earning? So the answer to that is, how long is a piece of string? And some of the answers will be like this, but in all reality, you can start earning money within a couple of weeks or a couple of days even. I mean, there's nothing stopping you watching some of the first consults and going, you know what? I've got a neighbor who's got exactly that issue. I'm going to go around and chat to them and say, hey, you charge $50. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. At least give it maybe a month so you've got a bit of experience under your belt and you've watched a few more videos and you might want to charge a bit more. But realistically, you know, Cindy, she started earning after about 4 months. How do I get started before I get certified? How do I get started before I get certified? I'm not sure if that's the question that somebody's actually asked. You can, the point is you don't have to wait for your certification before you start getting experience. You can go and chat to your neighbor and share some of the knowledge that you have. So that's kind of answered that question. How long before you actually get certified? I've said you have to wait for 6 months. And that's because I just want you to have a ton of experience. But if you read between the lines there, that's not stopping you from going and working with other people with charging money. And I know Cindy, great example, she did start charging money before she was fully certified, which is absolutely fine. You do with all of this stuff though have to check your area, your country, your state, because you know what's true for me here in New Zealand and what's true in England and the UK is different from all the other countries. What's true in America in different states, it does change a little bit. What is a typical consultation worth? So a consultation is where we're turning up once. This is what I would call the definition of a consultation. You turn up once, you spend maybe 2.5, 3 hours there, and you know I charge 500 New Zealand dollars for people to come to my home. But like I say, I wanted to make a case study and use Cindy as the example. So in her situation, she's charging 375 American dollars for a consultation, where she goes to their home, works with them for a couple of hours. That's what she charges. How many can you do in a week? Sorry, I've got some chickens down there who are making an awful lot of noise, digging away. How many consultations can you do in a week or a month? So the question of that is kind of how hard do you want to work in a way? How happy are you to be busy driving around? I did 10 in a week, I think, once. I may have done a few more, but 10 is the number I remember thinking that's almost too many. But 4 or 5 is very easy because, you know, if you do 2 one day and 3 the next, or 2 and 1, or even if you just do 1 a day means you've got the rest of the day to, I don't know, muck around. It only takes 2 or 3 hours, so you can tie it in with other stuff, or you can put 2 in a day. So what would your monthly earnings be just doing consults? So realistically, I've taken the lowest amount. You know, if you're doing 4 a week at 375, that's $1,500 a week, which is $6,000 a month. Now, board and train, we've discussed this in the webinar. It's one of the free bonuses. That is a real big money earner. If you get into that, you know, Cindy charges, I think it's $1,500 for a week of training a dog. But when you know what you're doing and you understand the power of this method and what you can share with people, you know, it's not that complicated. It's not that tricky to have more than one dog. So, and even if you're only charging $1,000 a week, US, you know, say you have two dogs in your home, one in a crate, and you train one, or they might play together and spend most of the time together. So you can easily train 2 dogs a week like that. Even if you take the lower figure of $1,000 US, that's $2,000 a week, or an additional $4,000 a month. So the question we keep getting is, what is the maximum sort of number, or realistically, that you could earn in a month if you do all of the above? And I'm just adding it up here. It's $6,000 if you're kind of doing 4 consults a week, and then 2 board and trains is another $4,000 a month. So $6,000 and $4,000. there's no reason why you can't be earning $10,000 a month, or in somewhere in that area. Maybe not that much, maybe more. But Cindy reported she made $15,440 in 6 weeks, which is pretty much bang on $10,000 a month. And bear in mind, Cindy did put everything in place. She took a few risks. She's built a website properly and redesigned it and put a little bit of money into that, but nothing, not that much at all, really. Nothing other than what you'd expect. So what can you charge in your area, rural, suburban, city? Well, and again, I've put that in rural, suburban, city because I've just reminded myself that it does depend, depending on where you live, what the house prices are, what the, whether it's a wealthy area or whether people expect, dog training to be a bit cheaper. Cindy charges $375 US for a visit and a couple of hours. I charge $500. There's people charging that sort of money, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. That's just for the one consult. This is a funny question that came in. How good do you have to be to earn what Cindy does? It's a very tricky question to answer because how good, good is a funny word. It's like, am I good? Am I good at what I do? Or am I just, I don't know. There's certain skills involved, of course, and I think one of the skills which comes through is if you love dogs and you really care and you're not just after the money, then you kind of connect with the people and the people go, this person actually cares. So that's a big part of it, actually caring. And if you care and you're willing to share, then you can do it. But you also have to follow through with the program. Does it matter if you're 17 or 70? Yes and no. The thing about age is generally as you become older, you become a little bit weaker, but that's not really that important because this job is not about dominating the dog, and it's not about forcing the dog to do stuff. So that's not really that important, the age side of things. I say the age, I'm meaning if you get older, it's not so important because this is not about forcing the dog. However, if you're young, you have to be aware that you're a little bit less experienced in life in general. And so what it can mean is you don't have the experience of making great decisions around maybe business or people, whether somebody's lying or telling the truth, or just knowing when somebody's wasting your time. So that's my concern with somebody who's only 17. You haven't had much life experience. Doesn't mean you can't do it. And if you're switched on and you know that, sometimes you have to take things with a pinch of salt, then I don't want to say that you couldn't do it because you certainly could. Okay. And now we've got some specific, fairly tricky questions. Does the program include any after-training support, i.e. marketing, branding, insurance, policies, that sort of stuff? Yep, so the training includes a whole load of documentation, all that sort of stuff. Marketing, branding, and insurance. Interesting. So marketing and branding, a lot of that is stuff where you have to kind of come up with a bit of a creative idea. But when it comes to marketing and branding and the logos and that sort of stuff, I suggest you get a professional. They're not expensive to design a really cool, funky logo or a couple of images. And we give you the places where you can go and do that. There's websites all over or companies where you just go in, you choose somebody, you can see they've had how many reviews these people have had at designing logos, and we share all that information with you. And it doesn't even cost much to get a logo, $20, something like that, $30. So there's a ton of support in that area. After training support, marketing and branding. Insurance policies is an interesting one. With insurance, we do suggest you take out insurance. Some countries you have to have insurance, others it's advisable. So we give you a couple of the big companies and suggest you chat to them. And there's companies who will insure people like you who are in the DTA as even if you're not certified, you can still get that certification. I mean that insurance. Training support, there's tons of training support before, during and after. Okay, now another question from the same person. With the marketing, branding information and document, is there any on insurance and liability contracts and waivers? Okay, I think the best way to put this is we've put together everything that you can need. So everything's covered off, whether it's a waiver, whether it's a contract, whether you're doing a board and train contract and so you're going to have somebody's dog at your home, because obviously that's a little bit different. If you have somebody, you got to think this stuff through. if you're going to have somebody dog at your home, who's responsible if it gets injured? Who's responsible if it looks a little bit sick and you need to take it to the vet? What about if you say, I don't want this dog anymore, it's becoming a bit of a problem, or all that sort of stuff needs to be covered off. Who's responsible? So yeah, all that's covered off. And we've got these done by professionals. We've had them looked at. They're yours to basically take and then tweak. And we do always suggest them that you just pass them past by somebody in your local area, lawyer, solicitor, something like that, who's a professional who understands your state law or your country law. Do you give us any assistance in what offerings we should have, the structure, and how to get clients to actually book us? Okay, so there's a number of things there. The structure of your offerings, absolutely, we give you examples. What the different maybe price points should be, that's all included. And we even do stuff like role playing on how to convert people over the phone, stuff to say, stuff not to say. There's that's my dogs in the background. I think my wife and kids have just turned up. It's 3:30 and they're doing a little bit of barking. How embarrassing. Can you be quiet, doggies? I'm on the video. Thank you. Moses! I might leave this in. Mosey, can you be quiet? I'm on a video. Thank you. He's now set the other dog off, the neighbour's dog. Okay, so where were we up to? I've been thrown a little bit here. Business and marketing modules. Yeah, there's a great bit in the in one of the classroom settings where I actually do a role play with my wife. So she stood there chatting to me. I've got these different hats on, so I put a hat on and I play Mr. Awkward. The person who maybe is penny pinching, and then I change the hats, and we do role plays basically, because you get different types of people phoning you up. All of that's included. I even give you the exact script of what I say, which converts people. And I've been doing this a long time, so I know the sort of things to say, when not to speak. The biggest mistakes, such as saying too much and giving away some of the method on the phone, you don't want to do that. So that's all covered off. Okay, next question. As I understand it, the Dog Trainer Academy has training and webinars on website creation and conversion. What is there to help us with managing social media to drive traffic and build reputation? Okay, so obviously we don't build your websites, and we strongly recommend you do have a website. Like with any business, you need a website. So we'll show you some companies which do websites, good websites, and they're not expensive. And we have people there inside the site where for just like a very, very small amount of money, they can review your website, and other dog trainer DTA members will review your website, give you feedback, all that sort of stuff. In terms of the social media stuff, driving traffic to your site and managing it and knowing what's going on is a crucial part. So what we've done is we've found someone who's absolutely brilliant at this. It's the person that Cindy's using actually to drive all the traffic to her site, and we give you their name and contact and say, look, go and chat to them, explain you with the Dog Trainer Academy, and they will basically use all those words that Cindy's using to convert, but they just tweak it for your area. So very, very powerful, gets you off to a flying start, puts your business on rocket fuel straight away. And it says here, you talk about a section in the webinar where you're improving yourself, working on your beliefs. Okay. Can you expand on this? So, yeah, basically, I'm married to Jenny. My wife is a genius at understanding what holds us back, what restricts our beliefs. So, a lot of the time, our limitations in life about what we can achieve, our business and that sort of thing, is restricted by our beliefs. And we just take our beliefs everywhere in our life. If we can change those beliefs, suddenly things start changing. So, that's one of the things that Jenny will offer, maybe in a one-on-one session. They have to be paid for, the one-on-one sessions, but she comes on webinars and does, chats on the webinar where she explains things. And, if you're happy to share some of your blocks or what you're not sure about, she'll go through that. And I know people have made huge changes, not just in the dog training world, but also in their life when they've made some changes to the stories we have in our head, the way we view the world. So, yes. Okay. That's pretty much all the questions, and hopefully that's given you a better idea of some of the stuff, the technical stuff, the policies, procedures, all that stuff that is included. But there's tons more. The Facebook group, for example, all the support that you get from all the people in there, all the experience that they have, having gone through the course, put it in place, built their websites, and now they're earning money. So hopefully that's answered all your questions. I would love to see you join us. Yeah, any questions, shout out. There is the 60-day money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing to lose. That's the main thing. Rather you check it out and decide it's not for you than you sit there forevermore on the fence wishing you had, and then you kind of just drift away and never achieve your dream or your goal. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'm Doggy Dan. Take care. Bye.